Good afternoon, everyone. This is Woody Collins with Congo Helping Hands, and it's another day of talking about the Congo. And I am outside in the state park, and it is cold today. It's in the 30s, so it is different. It's different. So I went from summer to instant winter, looks like, but we did have a couple fall days. So today we want to talk about no electricity in the Congo, particular in Kananga, for the last 3 weeks. My friend James sent me a message this morning and says that he has not had electricity for 3 weeks. And I thought, holy Toledo, what is going on? What is going on? So I thought, that's the reality of living in a developing country. Services drop off and you don't know when they're coming back. You don't have no idea, you know, even when services is working, we didn't have electricity, but from like 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the evening to about 10 or 10:30, and that was about it. So you didn't have 24 by 7. Uh, there was occasionally times when I was there in the house during the day, and all of a sudden at 10 o'clock, the electricity would come on because we'd never cut the lights off. You always just left the lights on because then you would know whether the electricity was on, since there was no way of knowing it whether it was on or not unless you had a signal like that of the lights being on. So, how do you cope with something like that? Well, you better have a generator or a solar panels and batteries so that you can have electricity. Uh, because in the home, you need lights to see around and see what's going on. And also, it's a kind of security measure. It's lets people know that you're home, but it also kind of identifies that you got electricity. So therefore, you may be a target. How about refrigeration? There is no such thing as cooking up a big pot of food and it lasting a couple of days. You only cook up what's available for that day, and that's going to be it because you do not know how much, you can't, you don't have any refrigeration. We did have a freezer that ran off of gas and electricity. So you could, hope it would have freeze it would get cold enough, and then it would keep things moderately cool, but not really cold. What about your devices, such as, phones? You better have battery power, and you better use it conservatively. You also want to have an extra power pack in case you need it. And a computer, desktop computer, forget about it. But a laptop would at least be that you can charge up the laptop and have it working where you can do some essential things. Usually the telephone company who gave you internet access, they have generators on their towers. So therefore you had you had power on your generator. I mean, you had cell service, but that was about it. So, my buddy James has not had electricity for the last 3 weeks, and so uh, I guess it's right at the point now that he complained to me, which I can't do anything about it. And you cannot go down to the power company and ask them when it's coming back on. There's no such thing as telephone numbers or who to contact, and people just kind of cope with it. As long as you got a generator or solar panel with some batteries, you kind of, wing it and continue. But just think about the businesses in town. Some of them may not have internet because they may have a router or something hooked up to their desktop computer or something like that. If they don't have a laptop computer, they need lights. Nobody has cash registers. I don't think I've seen but a couple cash registers, and that was in one of the major stores that had electricity. The banks and everything, they have their own generators so that they can continue to operate. And lastly, let's think about those hospitals now and clinics. We're over here in the United States talking about we got to keep the vaccines cold, and most of all vaccines you have to keep cold. With these COVID ones, you're going to have to keep below, 94 degrees and all the minus 94 degrees or even more than that. So how can you do that in a place that don't have electricity? And that's why it's going to be such a hard task to vaccinate people around the world in these developing countries because they don't have electricity. They don't have, uh, it's just going to be tough. And they also need, in the hospital, you need electricity. So even if you had a ventilator, unless you got to generate it and then it's going to power up the hospital, you can't run a ventilator. So, and also any other diagnostic machine. And you need lights to be able to see what's going on. I can remember out at Boulapay, we didn't have electricity. And so what they had to do an emergency surgery one night. And so what they did was they brought in flashlights, and the doctor operated by flashlights. So in a developing country, it's really bad. And let's talk about even the solopreneurs who need electricity. One of our church projects is raising chickens. So they're hatching the eggs, and for the incubator, you need electricity for the incubator, and they don't have steady electricity. They got solar panels, and if it's like we here in Indiana, it's overcast all day. You better have enough solar panels to produce enough electricity to keep everything running, and or you better have a generator. So that's another thing that we've been working on for the last week is trying to make sure that we have enough power to run those incubators. So but that's any type of you know something that we take for granted here, that you need electricity for. It is not available in the Congo, and this is outside. Even in the capital city of Kinshasa, you may have more electricity, but it's subject to go out. And we had at MPH, we had our generator there that would run generators, and when the power went off, they automatically cut on to power up everything. We wouldn't allow people to run air conditioners and stuff during that period of time because there was too much drain on the generator, but we still had to have generators to keep the freezers and the refrigerators and all that stuff cool and have lights for security and, so people to be able to see around. Uh, so, it's just, that's the life that you deal with in a developing country. So I wanted to give you a little idea of what it is all about. And so this week leading up to Thanksgiving, be thankful that we're living in a country, unless there is a big storm or tornado or hurricane or something, our electricity is usually not out, but maybe a couple of minutes, if that. And immediately we're on the phone calling the power company to let them know that we don't have electricity. So it is resolved within a matter of hours at the most, unless you're in a situation where there's an emergency situation where there's been some type of natural disaster that you've lost power. So be thankful this week, and also be in prayer and for the people in developing countries, because they living under hardship in different ways that we don't even know about. So as I close off today, we will see you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. The temperature is supposed to be a little bit warmer, maybe in the mid 40s. It's in the 30s now. So that may be a little bit warmer. Hopefully, the sun will be out, and that will be uh, a feeling of warmth when you're looking at the sun. But as I always say, take care of yourself and take care of your family. Be safe, wash your hands, wear your mask, socially distance yourself, and be as safe as possible. And finally, be blessed. And we will talk with you tomorrow, same time at 3 o'clock. And we will see you at that point in time. So have a good evening and the rest of your Sunday. Bon dimanche.